What's going on over in Afghanistan? Who is the Taliban and how did they take over so quickly? Let's quickly break it down for you. These were the scenes at Kabul airport as residents were desperately trying to flee the country, many of them afraid of what was about to happen next. There were traffic jams all the way up until the airport, and there were even people holding on for dear life on the side of planes as they were about to take off once they entered the airport. Why is this happening? The Afghan government have just been overthrown by the Taliban, and at time of recording they have just announced that they have control of the whole country. The Taliban, which translates to the students, are an extremist Islamic group of individuals. Due to this news, the previous president has already fled the country, were officially formed in the year 1994. They slowly started to seize territory over the country, and only 2 years later in 1996 the Taliban were the most dominant force in the country. The Taliban were in control of the country from 1996 to 2001, which was a 5-year period. The US involvement. On September 11th, 2001, came the infamous 9/11 terror attacks over in the United States of America, and the US government at the time believed that the terrorist group Al-Qaeda were responsible for these attacks. However, they believed they were being sheltered by the Taliban in Afghanistan. At the time, the Taliban were in control of the country, who were controlling aspects of many people's lives, but not for much longer, as the US sent in troops as well as some of its allies, and the Taliban were quickly conquered. However, they didn't vanish completely. They fled to remote parts of the country and began warfare with troops that were sent in from the US. In decades that followed, trillions of dollars were spent by the US and their allies on various things such as fighting the Taliban, training the Afghan military on how to defeat the Taliban, rebuilding parts of the country, and trying to establish democracy. Thousands of people have died due to this ongoing feud, both US soldiers and Afghan soldiers alongside Afghan civilians.
Support for US involvement has been gradually declining in the States, with some, including President Biden himself, labelling the conflict as the forever war.
I cannot and will not ask our troops to fight on endlessly in another country's civil war.
The United States first announced that it would be pulling out of Afghanistan in April 2021. What followed was expected by some, but few expected it to happen as quickly as it did. It was hoped that the Afghan government and security forces would be able to defend themselves, but many members of the Afghan army, which was largely paid for and equipped by the US, simply fled and escaped to neighbouring countries. Taliban fighters quickly swept across the country, seizing city after city without facing much resistance. After taking Kabul, the Taliban has claimed control of most of the country, and the existing government of Afghanistan has all but collapsed.
American troops cannot and should not be fighting in a war and dying in a war that Afghan forces are not willing to fight for themselves.
For the first period of Taliban rule, women weren't allowed to leave the home without a man, and were required to be clad head to toe in a burqa. Women were also not allowed to work, and girls weren't allowed to pursue an education. Non-Islamic music and television was banned, and corporal punishments like cutting off thieves' hands and public beatings were in place. The Taliban say they will hold talks to create an open, inclusive Islamic government.
Government officials will be activated soon, and all employees, including women, will return to work and work in areas permitted by Sharia law.
So one thing is clear so far, and that is that the Taliban are here for the long run, and to make it official, they announced this.
The Taliban says it will, after days of delays, announce its new government this week. One of its many challenges will be preventing an economic collapse.
This just shows that you should never take things for granted that you currently have. Chances are that there is somebody going through a much worse experience than you. Please put your hands together right now and pray for those innocent people currently trapped in Afghanistan. Thank you for watching this video. Please share this video as it is a sensitive topic and many people should be informed on the current ongoing in Afghanistan. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.